Hi, and welcome to today's Better You podcast. Today I am joined by Jonny Pool. Jonny is a disability personal trainer, and I met Jonny because he was on my last exercise of disability qualification. So he's now qualified to work with disabled clients. So welcome, Jonny. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. So obviously, Jonny and I both have cerebral palsy. So my first question to Jonny is, what type of cerebral palsy do you have, and how does it affect you?
Yep, so I have, the term for it is spastic diplegia. So for me, it just affects both my legs, just in sort of general mobility, walking around,
Does
that
it
kind of
affect your
thing. Really.
balance as well?
Oh boy, yeah, especially when I've had a few drinks. Yeah.
I find I'm better. I got the same type of CP. I find I'm a little bit better when I've had a few drinks.
Do you know, before I had Achilles tendon surgery in 2014, and actually since then, to be fair, when I've had a few drinks, I actually do feel better. But before that, prior to that, yeah, it was awful. It was a hazard. I
and
was an
then
absolute menace.
I know, and even when I'm sober, I get people come up to me saying, "Oh, I can be out driving, not drinking," and people go, "Are you actually drunk?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually sober. It's I got cerebral palsy." They're like, "What?
Oh,
What?"
funny little segue story. New Year's 2011, I live in a town called Beverley, and I was walking through Beverley, and one of the doormen at one of the pubs came over and asked if I was all right if I'd had too much to drink. And at this point, I'd only just arrived in Beverley to start drinking. That was my story.
I think everyone with CP's got a story like that. So, can I ask, how did you start being active, and when did you start being active, and how did you get into the whole being active scene?
Oh, just with the gym thing,
Yes,
that side of things.
yes.
Yeah. Oh, so with the gym, I was at university for 3 years and I studied criminology. And I'm going to get real deep here. So I was in a relationship at the time, and that ended just as I'd finished university. Wasn't particularly great experience. Left me with a bit of a kind of chip on my shoulder, and like I wanted to kind of do something to make myself feel better. You know, it's that kind of, what do you call it, post breakup glow up,
Yeah.
shall we say? So yeah, after I'd spent like a month or so feeling sorry for myself, I thought, you know what? And I didn't have a job at the time either, so I thought, well, I need to do something to just keep busy and keep active. So I
Yeah.
just got into the gym just to make myself feel better, really. Got into the gym, and once I'd got more experience, I'd been training for a couple of years. Friends started to notice a physical change, and they're like, "Oh, what have you been doing?" Because I've always been a very skinny person anyway. You know what it's like when you don't see people for a while and they see you after a while and they're like, oh yeah, you're looking better, you're looking pretty, pretty big now. What have you been doing? Oh yeah, I've been to the gym. Or do you think you could maybe show me a few bits and pieces? And I said, well, I'm not qualified, but I can just show you what I do, and showed a few friends. And then from there, it was a case of a friend one day said to me, oh, have you ever thought about being a PT? I reckon you'd be good because you seem to explain things really well. I was like, oh yeah, but I was always under the impression, I thought you had to go to university and get a degree to become a PT. I didn't realize that it was, you could go and do these courses,
Yeah.
things like that. And then I was leaving the gym one day. I think it was the Fit 24 chain. And outside there was a poster that advertised about doing personal training. And I had a look at it and I was like, well, no, there's no mention of a degree here. So and then kind of from there, I was like, oh, you can do it online. You know how it is. You go with a company and they say it's like an 8-week thing or a 12-week thing. And I just did that, worked my way up, did my level 2. Once I've done that, level 3, and kind of just kept going.
And we always keep going though, don't we? We don't stop.
No, I really got the bug for it as well. Like I did my level 2, I did my level 3, and I did it quite sort of one after the other. So it was all kind of fresh in my head anyway. So I thought, oh, what else can I do? To try and stand out a bit more. So then, I did level 2, level 3, GP referral, level 4 PT, strength and conditioning. Just kind of went up and up.
Yeah.
And then got a job in a gym. Started This was after my level 2. I just did it was night shifts as well. So it was 10-hour night shifts, 10, 12 hours. So it was like 8 p.m. till 8 a.m. the next day. I did that for a month. It wiped me out completely against CP because of all the moving around. But on the upside, I did lose half a stone. So,
So obviously you're still based in the gym and you PT in the gym. How do you find that? Really, as a disabled fit pro, how do you find being in the gym? And have they been really helpful? Have they been like accommodating for you?
Oh, absolutely. I was actually very lucky. So after that gym job, I worked for a few years at the gym, just sort of going back a bit. So when I finished university and I started the gym, it was a health club, and I actually got a job there once I got my level 3 PT. And that gym, health club, they were great. They said as soon as I started, they said, "If there's anything you need, help, support, adjustment wise," because there was quite a few stairs, and we had to do pool tests as well. So yeah, if there's anything you need, just let us know. Yeah, everyone was really approachable. And again, now having gone self-employed, being based at one of the Anytime Fitness chains. Again, they've all been great. Any support I need, they say, yeah, just let us know. And yeah, to be honest, I've been very lucky. Everybody's been really great from my own personal experience anyway.
That's good, because obviously I know I've had negative experiences even in the industry, working in the industry. So it's always nice to hear that you've had a positive experience and not a negative experience.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, knock on wood, when it comes to the gym and the jobs I've had, everybody's been supportive, and they've always, whoever I've worked for, even as an employee prior, they've always said, if there's anything you need, let us know. And yeah, can't fault it really.
That's good. And again, that might be because you work for smaller chains, so they might be more on board with it because they're smaller, not too big, and not too corporate.
Yeah. Well, the gym I worked at, the health club, it's actually a family-run business. So again, it was everybody kind of knew each other, and you did really feel part of like a small family, which was nice.
That is nice, and that is because sometimes when you work for big corporates, you're just like a number, you're just like a little tiny fish in the pond, and it's lots of fish around you, and you don't always feel like you're part of a family because it is so big, so corporate, and they're doing the tick box exercise a lot of the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I was trying to save up money to do all these qualifications, I was actually working at Tesco, and obviously, of course, Tesco being a big supermarket, you really are just a number.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, exactly. What types of clients do you actually attract and work with on a daily basis?
Yeah. So in terms of right now, I'm working with predominantly a lot of people with various medical conditions. So I've had a couple in the past and one currently that has cerebral palsy like myself. I've got one client as well that also has Down syndrome that I'm also qualified to work with as part of the disability qualification that I know you mentioned. I've had a few other clients. Generally outside of that, it's been the kind of sort of standard wanting to lose weight, some with high blood pressure as well. But again, that sort of falls under the GP referral qualification side of things.
Obviously, I know we've got the same values on making sure you stay within the scope of practice and qualifications and staying in our lanes, as we say. I know on the disability qualification, we always stay in a lane, work with those you're qualified with. And obviously, we're going to have people that are not qualified watching this actual podcast. So, what I want to say is that if you have a disability and you want to work with a fit pro, you need to make sure that they have the level 3 design exercise programs for disabled clients qualification. It's such a long name because this is really important so they understand all the counter contradictions to exercise, what to do and what not to do with your condition. So with some conditions, if a standard PT actually worked with you and they did the counter contradictions to exercise, they'll move that goes against your condition, it can cause death. I know you laughed at me. I said this the other day, but actually it can happen. And
it can. The most extreme circumstances is what people, I think, whether you're a PT or even if you're someone who's looking for a PT, making sure they're appropriately qualified, because we're talking absolutely worst case scenario here, but the point is that it can happen. And, it's always worth making sure that the PT you're working with is appropriately qualified. And then as a PT, making sure you've got all the necessary qualifications you need to work with the right client as well. And
I think what people don't realise is that when you do your level 3 PT course, you're only qualified to work with the reasonably healthy adults. So you've got no disabilities, no health conditions, nothing. So if you have a disability, the PT will need a disability qualification. If you have a disability and a health condition on top, you're going to need to have a PT like me and Jonny that have got both the disability qualification and the exercise referral qualification. So if you have cerebral palsy and you've got high blood pressure, you need to have someone that understands both conditions, and that's what both qualifications allow you to do. If you look at a standard PT, there's quite a lot of famous standard PTs out there that aren't qualified to work with disabled clients. One suddenly branched out on his social medias, apparently working with disabled clients, and he's not qualified to. We ain't going to know who that is. He's only allowed to. He's
can have a quick swig here. Claim ignorance.
He's actually only qualified to work with a weakly healthy adult. So this is really important. And if you are a disabled client looking for a PT, don't be scared to ask to see their certificates. If that PT got that qualification, they'll be happy to show you their certificate. I've got all my certificates on my phone. I've got pictures of them on my phone, so I can just go into a folder and show it. I've been asked a few times by disabled clients that they've asked to see my actual, to see if I'm suitably qualified, and I'm more than happy to go, yeah, here you go. But not many people realise that it's an unregulated industry, and that there's loads of people out there that PT without a PT qualification, or they do a quick group home course for 20 quid, but it's not an endorsed training. So it's just making sure that you see a certificate. It's got either active IQ and it's CIQ or focus awards. They're the only 3 awarding bodies in the fitness industry. They haven't got that on the certificate, they're not qualified at all, and then they need those extra qualifications on top. So in the fitness industry, we have to keep on top of our qualifications, and I know me and Jonny are both level 4s, so we have to basically keep maintaining our knowledge. And the fact is, if, like, for example, I'm not pre-placement trained, I'm not qualified to work with pregnant ladies, so if I had a pregnant lady come up to me, I'd have to refer on to someone that is qualified, for someone that is pre-placement trained. But if there is another instructor of a PT that isn't disability qualified, but they know I am, they are referred on to me, and that's how we all work. And that's how a lot of good PTs work. I know I work with a local PT, and we virtually refer to each other. So if I get a client that I know is more suited to him, I refer on to him, and vice versa. And I know that if he gets someone that is a health condition or disability, he'll refer on to me. So it's just making sure that you are educated on making sure that you work with the right PT, the right fitness professional, because again, as we both said, it's a worst case scenario. But someone that's not qualified could really make your condition a lot worse than it is. They might not understand your medication, how fluctuating your condition is. Yeah, it could cause death. And I laugh at that, but
it's true though. That's the thing. That's in the most, like I said before, in the most extreme cases, that can happen.
It can.
And I think that's what I'd say as well to any PT that's whether you have a disability or not, that's maybe been approached by someone with a disability, even if you, like me, you've got cerebral palsy, but you don't have the qualification, but you get someone else with cerebral palsy come to you that doesn't have it. I mean, I'm very fortunate in that I knew a lot about the condition already anyway. So if someone with CP, probably could have trained them and been fine. But what you've got to think is that, if you don't have the qualification and heaven forbid anything does happen, you're not insured. Your insurance won't cover it. So I would say to any other PT out there, don't think of it as because you don't necessarily know the condition. Think of it from an insurance perspective. It's that bit of paper, that covers you, heaven forbid, if something does happen.
And I just think it's respect for your own community. I think we're knowing that we're in a little disability community, and if I don't have that qualification, I feel like I'm disrespecting the disability community.
Yeah.
I'm not holding up my true morals and respect by being properly qualified. So by having that qualification, you are actually respecting the whole community and leading a way for newer PTs, disabled PTs coming in to showcase they do need that qualification and educate them to having the qualification.
So, and just to your point as well, just about not being afraid to ask about showing the certificates, I would say actually, please ask. If nothing else, it's quite nice, especially when you've done a lot of qualifications as PTs. It gives us a nice chance to show off and say, "Oh yeah, here's all my stuff that I've done."
Yeah, and because a lot of us are self-employed, we don't have our own gyms, we don't have them up like hairdressers. You have them up in our little salons. We don't have that. We don't have that sort of privilege to have them up all the time. We have them in a little booklet where we take them around for interviews and everything, and that's the only time they come out. So it's quite nice to actually be able to go, "Oh yeah, here's my qualification. There you go."
Yeah, I mean, just to your point as well about asking about regarding qualifications. So of all the people I've PT'd, including since I've gone self-employed, and then when I was an employee, I didn't actually personal train with the gym at the time, didn't offer that. So it was just kind of, showing around the gym, inductions, and then just offering support if someone came and asked. So including all of those, factoring those in, as well as the people that I PT'd, I've probably helped well over 30 people. And of all those people, only one person has asked to actually see my qualifications. And it was quite nice because it just showed that, they took it seriously. So I had no problem showing them. So again, just to that point, I would say, to what Sam said, don't be afraid to ask.
I think it needs to become more normal because a lot of the general public don't realise how unregulated the industry is. So to make it normal to ask to see them is going to become a normal, and then actually any good qualified PT will go, yeah, here you go. If they get funny, then they often if they're not qualified. That's I often say. You get funny with you, it's highlighted they're not qualified either at all or in disability, and they're just trying to drag their way out of it.
Because I've heard so many stories. Just, I mean, obviously, working in the industry, like when you meet, other PTs, depending on whatever industry you work in, you meet like-minded people, and I've heard so many stories of people working in gyms that have the basics. So the very least got the level 2, or even there's been somewhere they'll be there for like an apprenticeship, so they don't have the qualifications, but they're working towards it.
Yeah.
I've heard of instances where, because what we were saying earlier, that it's so unregulated, that people have been taking online clients when they don't even have any qualifications at all, and because they've maybe been training for 4 or 5 years, so they've built up a decent physique, but they don't have any qualifications at all, and then they'll just be online. And then, like we were saying, because it's not regulated, that's how easy it is. And I think that's why it's so important to check and ask who you're working with, whether it's face-to-face or online.
And also, like I said, like these online courses you could do with a Groupon and everything, they advertise for a PT course for £25. Believe it or not, if you ever see a certificate, you might think they're properly qualified, but they're not. They're not gone through a proper assessment process. So on a PT course, you go through 4 assessment processes, and that is you go through worksheets, a practical assessment, and two theory exams, and you have to pass every single one to become PT. And the PT theory exams are really, really hard.
It is.
And
I would say absolutely. I would say as well, again, if anybody out there that's listening, whether if you've got a disability wanting to be a PT or not, and you're just wanting to be a PT, if you're going to shop, I would always say shop around various different ones. You don't, just go for the cheapest one, because like a lot of things in life, you get what you pay for.
And even on the disability course you did, one of the guys on the course, he did a PT course, then he went to the disability course, and then he came to sign up for it and it's a certificate. He actually just did, it wasn't actually an endorsed qualified qualification, and he had to do it all again, so he had to pay again to do it. So if it's cheap, then you know that it's not a property. You're looking at a good £600 plus for a good PT qualification.
Yeah.
You're not looking under that at all.
No.
You might get one from 500 onwards, but anything under 500, you know it's not a proper qualification. So you really need to be spending the money on that. And sometimes a lot of PT qualifications get over £1,000 because of the amount you learn and the earning potential afterwards. So the higher you can earn from a qualification, the more expensive it is to do.
It's very, the good thing is about the qualification for even just a level 3 personal trainer is, from what I've heard, again, just from the gym I work in, people that have recently in the middle of doing their level 3 PT, it sounds like even from when I qualified as a level 3 PT in 2017, and even since then, it does feel like a lot more is expected, because I know the person that I was speaking to, she was saying, not do they just do, the nutrition, anatomy, and the practical, it's that, and they have to actually do a business plan as well, and they do start going through a bit of business, which when I did it at the time, it was the one big criticism. But no, there's nothing, is there? So it's more like anatomy, nutrition, practical, off you go. There was, even just when we did the teaching weekends, there wasn't really anything, in terms of like, starting up online, and even just face to face, how you putting a business plan together. So that does seem to be fair. In more recent times.
I think also since COVID, I think they've had to adapt it so that you know how to do it online. I think a lot of people felt, I know when I did my PT course and afterwards, I had this imposter syndrome. I didn't know how to start up. I didn't know how to get started as a PT. You learn how to PT, but you don't learn how to get started with PT, and it's like I have felt like this imposter thinking, oh my god, I know it all, but how do I get started? How do I get clients? How do I? Once you've done at least 2 or 3 clients, you're away. But it's those first 2 or 3 clients. You're like, ooh.
Yeah, how much do I charge? Am I charging too much? Am I undercharging? And then you've got to factor in as well, where you live. If you're a PT in London, you're going to be charging a lot more than, I live in the East Riding, so someone in London would be charging a lot more per hour.
We'll be charging different because we live in completely. You're up north, I'm down south. Down south commands more money. Again, London, I know people live in London, and they're paying over £100 per session.
Yeah.
So literally, even my online PT is the same as my face to face, because I'm putting in the exactly same effort. Actually, sometimes I put in more effort online than I do face to face.
Found that a lot. Yeah.
And people undercharge online, and actually it's harder because you've got to watch them more because you're not actually in that room with them.
I've found as well, weirdly enough, a lot the big misconception I think with online is because you're not physically there, that it's automatically going to be cheaper. But what I've found is when I first started and I really did undercharge, even when I got clients, I think it's a reflection as well. Like, clients don't always necessarily, what's the right phrase, almost take it as seriously, because I think if you charge too low, it becomes then like any other outgoing. It's very easy to sort of forget about it. And whereas I think if there's a bit more skin in the game, so to speak, not extortionate amount, but there's a bit more skin in the game from a client's point of view, they think, oh well, I know I'm paying X amount per month, so I better get my skates on and stick to it.
Make the most of it. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I found anyway.
I do, and I think it's funny because when I started out, I was cheaper than I am now, and I didn't think I was a bit like you. I didn't know what to charge, and I think the fact that I knew that I was new, so I didn't want to overcharge. But then the more confident I got, I charged more and more. But the more I put my prices up, the easier I found it to get clients.
Yeah, I think there's an element of legitimacy as well, especially because if people are going to be shopping around, if they know roughly what kind of the standard is and you're way below that, I think sometimes if you're too below that, people will think, oh, well, why? Are they not as experienced? Any number of things can be going
I always say, down south, I'm in the southwest, and I always say that, anything below 30, £35 an hour, they're not qualified, especially below 30. Normally newer PTs will charge a little bit less because they are less experienced and less qualified. And literally, I think also level 4 PTs will charge more because they've got the level 4 expertise. So and again, that's about £600 plus for a qualification. So literally, you are putting blood, sweat, and tears into that qualification to get it. And I'm doing my level 4 back pain at the moment, and believe me, it's like, well,
that one's on my list.
This is the manual.
Oh, I've got so much to look forward to. That looks fun.
I know. This is so people can see how much work goes into a level 4.
Yeah, it's
the
good.
Manual, and that's a manual alone. So literally, and though you can do it in 2 or 3 months, it will take me 6 months because I want to do it properly.
That's
it. I want to shake that information in, make sure that I pass it first time, not do it in 2 or 3 months and then have to go with the manual again because I've not picked it all up. I rather shake it all up, absorb that information and make sure that I'm doing it correctly the first time.
That's the thing. I mean, just going back to like the level 2 and level 3 qualifications, I see some of these ones even now, they'll say, oh yeah, become fully qualified in 6 weeks. It's like, I'm sorry, there's no way you can have the appropriate amount of knowledge. They may be able to get you to a point where they can tick a box and pass an exam, but for you to then go off on your own and have enough knowledge, there's no way you can do it in 6 weeks.
No. It took me over a year to do my PT one.
Sorry?
It took me over a year to do my PT.
Yeah, I was the same. Just for nothing else, the anatomy.
Yeah, and it was it's the exam. I couldn't pass the exam. I passed all the practical stuff and the worksheets like that. Came to the theory, and I'm like, oh.
No, I mean, even for me, it was that one that did it. I mean, I was fine with the practical. I was fine with the coursework. I was even fine with the nutrition exam. It was that level 3 anatomy. I tell you what, that'll really test you.
That is really hard.
Yeah, it is.
And the funny thing was, it was the neuro stuff that I kept failing on.
Really?
Yeah, and when I did my level 4 neuro, I found the level 4 neuro exams easier than the level 3 A&P.
Do you know what? In a way, sometimes when it comes to stuff like that, though, I'm of the mind it can almost sometimes work to your benefit if you don't pass first time because you automatically study that bit harder. So then when you do eventually pass, you've got a greater knowledge and understanding.
I did, and I kept going over and over the A&P. So and I found a really good resource of parallel coaching that really helped the A&P stick in. They had like MP3s that I could listen to. So I had it on in the car. So I could just listen to it when I was driving around. So I was listening to it subconsciously. So I found it went in better. And literally that really helped. So then I did it and I passed this before, I found out I passed this before Christmas on the way to an instructability party. So I was like, yeah.
2 birds, 1 stone, you can celebrate and have a bit extra then, can't you?
And I was really happy because I think it's like the 23rd of December I found out. So I found out just before Christmas.
Oh, that's good.
I had Christmas and then I got the certificate in January, and it took me quite a few months to get set up because I was like, I don't know how to like you. I didn't know how to set up, and I knew I didn't. All the gyms down here charge at £500 plus a month to PT, and I thought I'm not paying that. I can't afford. I worked it out. I would need about 40 clients to even earn money, and it's impossible.
That's the thing as well. The rent is just astronomical. It really, if you're starting out, it really doesn't work in your favor at all. The best thing I can advise, I mean, I don't know about you, is if you've got a job as an employee, whether if that's a different job or a job in a gym. Because what I did was that previous gym job I had where I worked at a health club, I had that. And then on the side, after lockdown, I became self-employed at the gym I'm at now. And I kept both going until I'd built up enough to the point where I could then leave that job.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I would definitely say if you're going to do the whole self-employed thing, have a job in one form or another, whether that's fitness related or not, just so you've got time to build up the clients. And then once you get to that amount, then you can, sort of
I
get
completely
rid of.
agree. I had the part-time job for 10 years. It's only now that I've been redundant that I've just gone fully self-employed. knowing that I've got a good set of classes, clients behind me to give me that base income to survive every month.
Yeah.
But it does take, I think no one can go fully self-employed straight away. You're going to earn nothing, absolutely nothing.
You'll be bleeding money. I'm quite lucky with the gym I'm at now, where the rent actually isn't that bad, and it is flexible as well. So luckily, if you say if I was to lose a few clients, you can go down to half rent and then 10 hours service. So then if it drops more, you can then do full service, which is 20 hours, and then fit clients around it and then build up again. So there's a bit of flexibility there, but it's different from some, depending on the gym you work at. There's David Lloyd, some of them, especially more down south, I've heard of like £1,000 per month plus for the rent. It's just, yeah.
I'm in Swindon. I'm in Wiltshire. It's a £500 plus.
Really?
Yeah. You might get a little small. You might get small independent gyms that are different, but I decided to go mobile. So because like a lot of my clients have got disabilities or health conditions that I work with face to face. So I mobile, go to their homes, and because a lot of them can't even get out the home. So for me, I PT in their homes, and that way I get to keep the cost down a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't have to factor in the rent into that cost.
Well, that's nice. That sounds nice.
I get to keep all that money. So basically, that's how I always worked on that. And I even did my PT practical assessment, not using gym equipment. I did it all with like free weights and like bits of kit that I could do in someone's home. I knew that I wasn't going to PT in the gym.
Yeah, so that's always handy as well.
Yeah,
you've got that definitely.
Yeah, so that's how and then I obviously lockdown. I went online, and then I discovered online PT through lockdown, and then that's become. I now got more online clients than I have face-to-face clients. So it's just worked completely differently from lockdown.
I definitely feel like COVID, whether if it's been footfall on the high street or the personal training space, I think it's sped up where both things were already probably going to go over the next 10 years. So like with the online space, and even just with shops, we see them, the footfall is far less now. When I go to work, I've definitely noticed a difference on the roads. They're not as busy as they were. People working from home, which I think we were going to head towards anyway, but COVID I think has just sped it up by a few years.
It's accelerated that 10 times really. And especially the fitness industry, I think it's starting to go online a little bit, but it's just forced it online.
Yeah.
And then you've now got that. We've both got that privilege to work with clients worldwide. You know, we work with disabled clients all over the world. So we're quite lucky in a way with our niche that if someone doesn't live near us and they want to work with us, they can, because they know we can just hop onto a Zoom or a video call and just PT them, which is great. We could do it from our home. And
absolutely, it's great for the clients as well. I mean, especially those that may not feel. I mean, PTing, doing online coaching, you'll get clients from our point of view where it'll be a case of they go to a gym and they just need you for that accountability, or it'll be a case of maybe they just don't feel comfortable going to the gym, and then you'll do them some home workouts and check in with them, make sure everything's going okay, running smoothly, and updating things when you need to update them.
Yeah, a lot of mine is like face to face, but online. Some of them once a week, because they need that sort of push to make them do it. If I'm on a call with them and then they're doing it, and they're getting the technique right with me, because I go, oh, actually, you're not doing this, or you need to do this. You can stand in that position, and I think it's a social interaction. So they get an hour with me, and I get to talk to them the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably going to sound really self-serving, but I remember when I'd started at the gym, and it was that gym that I mentioned earlier that I worked at that didn't really promote personal training. So when I started at the gym, I didn't really have a PT to work with. I would just go to the staff and just ask them for help. But in terms of having that one-to-one help, I never had that. So I had to learn. When I think back now, especially those first 3-4 months of training, I did so many things incorrectly, and I'm lucky I didn't.
I think we've all done that. I remember when I used to work at work, I used to go in and do a gym session. I could do a gym session in the gym, and I'd have PTs in there, and I used to stand and watch them. I could stand there like looking at my clients, also having an eye on the PT, which I'll be like observing them to think, oh, they're doing that. Why are they doing that? Oh, I like that. Oh, and you get ideas. And even when I'm in the gym working out without no clients, I see a PT, I'm watching them because that's how I pick up different things or new ideas. And especially when they're newly qualified, that they might have been taught something we might not have been taught. I'm like, oh yeah, not thought of it like that. Oh, I like that move. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make that.
It's that thing, isn't it? And at the end of the day, when it comes to working out, especially at the beginning, if you don't know, it's like anything. If you don't know, you don't know, do you?
Exactly. And I think I should think about the PT course. I think it's so intense and it can be so quick that literally you're thrown out. You're thrown out into this industry, and you just don't know which avenue you need to go down. How to get going, how to advertise, how to get clients, what to charge. So you're like literally you are like a 2-year-old thrown into a pen for a lion, going.
That's it. Well, that's it. Essentially, you're thrown out into the wilderness a little bit, aren't you, with it?
Exactly. Yeah. So, what's I going to say? So let's look at the time. We've got about 10 minutes to go. So, have you got any advice out there for up and coming disabled PTs?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be honest, this is going to sound a little cliche, but just don't let whatever you're going through hold you back. If you want to do it, do it. We need more disabled PTs out there. I mean, although things are improving, they're still really very few and far between. In my area, besides me, I can only think of 2 other people, and that's the whole of these riding off the top of my head, besides me, that I can only think of. There may be a few more, but it's very few and far between from what I know.
I don't know any in Swindon. It's only me that I'm aware of. I know like other PTs that have got health conditions, but not a proper disability.
Yeah.
But I only know about 2 or 3, probably about. I only know the ones with instructability that I trained with, and apart from that, I only know about 2 or 3 others, and you're one of them.
Yeah. So just anyone out there listening, if you're thinking about becoming a PT and you've got a disability, do it, because we need more. Pronto, tonto.
And it is as a job, as a disabled person, you can do it around your condition. So if your condition fluctuates, you could be your own boss and work when you want to work, basically. And literally, for example, I went away this weekend. I was on a fitness weekend. I teach fitness classes, and I was doing fitness classes all weekend. And literally, I took, apart from the class last night, I took yesterday off. I did no work yesterday because that is the beauty about being self-employed. I can go, oh, I'm going to be knackered. I need to rest. And actually, I was. When I was teaching last night, I was going like.
That's it. It's. In that regard, I would say this line of work, if you've especially a condition like cerebral palsy, where depending on how it affects you personally, fatigue can be an issue. Obviously, when you're an employee and you're doing, your standard 9 to 5. To anybody listening that doesn't have CP, might think, "Oh, what's the big deal?" But for CP, again, depending on the type, it can be really draining and really take it out of you, because we use 4 times the amount of energy anyway. So with something like, like this, you can, because like you say, you're your own boss, you can kind of plan your weeks accordingly. Even like I always do mine week to week. So for example, with me, my CP, how it affects me is that when it's winter in particular, that's where things can get really difficult mobility wise. I kind of seize up a bit. So that month, face-to-face client wise, I plan ahead. I think, I'll just take it a little bit easier, do a little bit more online. You can adjust things. It's a lot more friendly in that regard.
It is. And I also find it, because I teach fitness classes, that helps my CP as well. So the more I'm moving, the better my. We've got the same type of CP. So the more I'm moving, the better my CP is. I feel it more. December, January are probably the worst months, so I feel it more because it's probably the weather goes down. Now, if it warms up and stays warm, it's when I'm more I prefer spring, summer, because my body likes it.
I get really grumpy. In the summer, in the UK, even it's like that real horrible sticky heat, I get really grumpy. So I find if it's like warm with the coolish breeze, I'm happy because it's a little easy on my CP. I don't
Yeah.
turn into a moody grump if it's too sticky hot.
If it goes over 34, 35, I'm like, no, it's too hot. It's way
That's
too
it, yeah.
hot. If it's under 16, 15, 16, I'm like, oh god, it's too cold.
Yeah. Get the old electric blanket out.
I got thermal leggings. You want my thermal leggings come out?
Oh, see, I need that. I might have to invest in some.
You do, because they are like the best thing, because you can wear them underneath. Sometimes I wear a thermal pair and put a funky pair over the top. So I got two pairs on just to keep me like warm.
Well, it's my birthday at the end of next week. There's something I'm gonna get. There you go.
Yeah. So another thing. So but yeah, it's like literally all the things that we face with CP, and we do cover this on the disability qualification. So Jonny did the last one with us back in January, February time. It was. I think I can't remember that now. It's such a long time ago.
I think did I start January and then because I remember handing my stuff in around sort of towards middle of February. I think it
was like Jan, Feb. I think it was at the start of Feb. We went into the start.
It was either January to February or February to March, one of the two.
Yeah, I can't remember now, but I know I kicked off a shower. We've got a qualification coming up in June. So if you are a disabled fit pro or a fit pro that wants to get qualified to work with disabled clients, it is the one qualification in the fitness industry that qualifies you to work with disabled clients. Yes, I know people go on about the CrossFit qualifications, but the CrossFit ones do not allow you to PT a client. So the CrossFit qualifications are only for CrossFit. They are for you to only do CrossFit with your client.
Sorry, my camera nearly hit me in the face then.
Okay, so the CrossFit qualification is just to do CrossFit, and that is it. It doesn't cross over to PT clients. So if you want a PT disabled clients, you have to do the level 3 design and exercise programs for disabled clients qualification. Because insurance wise, and this is where it gets complicated, insurance wise, the CrossFit qualification will only insure you to do CrossFit with that client or CrossFit with disabled clients. Whereas the PT one, the fitness one, so the one in the fitness world, the level 3 disability one, it allows you to do group fitness, one-on-one, anything in the actual fitness world. The CrossFit world is different.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to just what we were saying earlier, to the minority of people that whenever we mention it, out there that almost like get offended when you mention it. Don't think of it as questioning your ability to PT or coach them. Just think of it purely as making sure that you're insured, because just having that bit of paper, like I said earlier, just makes all the difference for your insurance covering it and your insurance saying, actually, do you know what, you're not insured, so you're on your own.
I actually, this is really important because I attended a webinar that Simpspa did in lockdown, and we had quite a few insurance companies there, and literally, basically, I think this is an education for those that aren't in the industry or not qualified, like clients. Basically, if a fit pro has not got that certain qualification, that means that if they say that you get injured and you go to sue them, if they have not got that qualification, then they cannot go any further with that insurance claim, but the insurance will not pay out, basically. So it will come back onto your own head as a person suing them, because you won't get anywhere. So this is why it's important to make sure they've got the right qualification. Again, if you're a disabled fit pro or fit pro worker with disabled people, it is valuable to have a qualification, because you then know you're insured, and you know that if you do get a claim, that your insurance company will pay out. So on this webinar, they said that if you say Jonny had someone sue him, if I shoot him right now, just hypothetically, that if I know we're not, but
please don't.
I'm not, but if he did
good luck getting anything from me, I tell you.
If that or me. That insurance company then would come back to me, and I'd have to give them all my certificates of all the qualifications I got. Now, if you're a disabled client and there isn't that disability certificate, that insurance company will stop that claim straight away. They'll just shut it down. And this is what they're saying on this webinar. Basically, they had 2 or 3 directors of 2 or 3 insurance companies all said the same thing. They might tell you as an instructor you're insured, but they're saying that because they want your money. But once you're paying every month and you go to claim, they won't pay out if you haven't got that certificate. And that's why all these special population qualifications are vital. So you want to work with assisted exercise, kids, older adults, disability, exercise referral, pre-postnatal, you have to have a separate qualification for it on top of the PT qualification. And if you're a client and think, oh God, no, I don't know, all you've got to do is ask that PT or that FitPro if they have it or not. If you go ahead and exercise with them when they haven't got it, you need to know that it'll be on your head, so to speak. I can't think of how else to word it, because there could be an impact on it. It could make your condition worse than it currently is.
A lot of PTs, they will, I mean, if you work with them as well, they'll have some form of contract normally for you to sign, just to say that, that you are responsible. And to what Sam was saying, even if they don't have the qualification, and yes, it will come back on them for not having the qualification because the insurance won't cover them. But then if you've also signed away, saying that you're happy to exercise with them and something happens, then there is an element of that responsibility that then also falls on you, just from a health point of view rather than a legal point of view, really.
And just remember, you've got one body, you've got to look after it. Yeah,
absolutely.
I know that.
Especially when you wake, I was going to say, especially when you wake up in winter and you have those days where you feel like you're aging faster, especially your body.
I know. And obviously, like the last podcast with Katie, who's one of my clients, who is in therapy because of the last PT she had before me, and she was being bullied. Yeah, being bullied, and because PT didn't understand the fluctuating nature of CP, so she was just making her. She said, "You could do this last week, why can't you do it this week?" And that's not how you work with a disabled client at all. And 4 years on, she still got anxiety over it. So, and that should never ever happen in a million years.
To me, that just sounds like not so much a lack of understanding about the condition, but just a reflection of that person's personality.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah. It's like one program for all her clients. But she's not PTs do.
Oh, the cookie cutter PT. Yeah, I'm familiar.
No, standard PT, same program for everyone. They've got to stick to it. Make it easier for them.
And it's like what we were saying about being a PT and online and what you charge. I tend to find sometimes if you charge a lot less, then you've got, as a PT or online coach, you've then got to take on more clients to make up the difference. So then there's that chance of you're not able to give everybody the care and attention that they need. So you could take on 50, 100, 150 clients. But let's be honest, if you have that many, there's no way you're going to be able to give them all the care and attention that they need.
No.
It's
I rather take less, charge more, and they get my full attention. They can, if they WhatsApp me anytime, they know that I'll respond. If I'm not teaching, I'll respond back to them. I will respond back to them with any condition, anything. I know you're probably the same. So they get off. You get your full attention, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely, and especially if you charge more as well, it's important that you feel you're getting the money's worth.
And I always say this: people that PTs that charge less, they will give you. You will get what you pay for. You won't get your money's worth for that hour session. You'll probably get a 20-minute, half an hour session for that. What you should be getting.
Especially in the online space as well, where you've got 100, 150 clients, 9 times out of 10, it'll be the cookie cutter copy and paste programs. You'll have the email list, click send to all, and that'll be it. 9 times out of 10.
And actually, 10 times, it won't be that PT sending it out, it'll be their VA or admin sending it out.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing as well. They'll be collecting the cash.
Give me. I've got a VA, but my VA does bits I don't like, website stuff I don't like doing. I do all the hands-on stuff. So I do everything all my client stuff you'll get directly from me and only me. So
yeah, you need that person. You need to maintain that personal connection even online. At the end of the day, to some extent.
You do. So, have you got any advice for up and coming new disabled PTs apart from getting qualified?
Just general advice.
General advice,
yeah. I would say if you're into training, just keep doing what you're doing, and just have enough trust, belief, confidence in yourself, and there's no reason why you can't become a PT as well. Just keep at it. As they say. I mean, that's kind of generic advice, but to be honest, that's the best thing I can probably say. Don't let people sort of try and dissuade you as well, because we are in a situation now as a society, I think, where more people are becoming qualified as personal trainers with disabilities. It's just that, unfortunately, it's still thinner on the ground than I would like. So the more we can have in the industry, the better.
There's 16 million disabled people in the UK. There's enough clients for all of us to go around.
Absolutely. More PTs as well. We need to start, especially when you start, it's worth networking and working together, kind of like what we're doing, and just not letting egos get in the way, because if we can all help each other, then everybody benefits.
I've seen disabled PTs on like Instagram, like I know we had this conversation already, like office, that they don't really like engage with me because it's like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a jealousy thing or if it's got back that they know that I've been in the industry for longer and it's like that I got more knowledge, but I've worked hard for that knowledge. I've gained that knowledge over time. But actually, if you can work together like we are, we can share experiences, we can share that knowledge and help each other out, and then also you then can help each other with clients. Like I was in a kids CP group, and I saw someone near Jonny ask for a PT that understood CP, and I recommended him to them, and that's it's nowhere near me, and they went face to face, so I sent them to Jonny's way. So I don't know.
I mean, same thing the other day that commented on your post. I thought, because at the end of the day, I'm still kind of new to the group, and from what the lady had commented, saying it sounded like that from the sound of things, she'd prefer, which is fair enough, that sometimes you prefer a female PT anyway. So I know I tagged you in that, and then you just kind of help each other out, really.
It is, and it's not a competition. It's not anything, because actually, if you cross refer to each other, it's going to help you both out, because it's I'll give Jonny clients, going to give me clients.
I mean, it's especially in the online space. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got a point where you've got 50 clients, or 30 clients or whatever online, at the end of the day, there's billions of people in the world. If you see someone that you feel may benefit from me, it's not going to, hurt you to refer a few people. Similarly, if I've got, 50 or 30 online clients and I see people that look like they're closer to you and would benefit from you better, it wouldn't hurt me either, Billions of people in the world at the end of the day.
Yeah, and sometimes I do find that I've got a lot of female clients with PT, and I think sometimes they prefer a female PT because of all the complications that females have with CP, like periods and everything. Sometimes they naturally prefer a female PT. Whereas me, I prefer a male PT because I like to PT face to face, and I need a strong man that can support me or pick me up. And everyone's different.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I know I don't get embarrassed talking about female stuff to my own, because obviously when you work in that industry, you just get used to. I'm a tutor. You get used to talking about everything because I have to tutor about it. So, but then people that aren't used to that, you might find that you get more men with CP because you're a man, so you can actually understand the male sort of equivalent to CP.
100%, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even when I was working at that the health club gym, there was a guy who was, I think he was in his late 70s, early 80s, wasn't wanting any personal training, but just advice just regarding CP, and asked me about my experiences. And it was great for me because I got to talk to somebody that was in their late 70s, approaching their 80s with CP, and he was telling me how he's getting on. Obviously, as we get older and you age faster, so by the time you get to the age of 70 and 80, you do sometimes kind of wonder what's it going to be like. Yeah. Well, yeah. And it was great for me as well, as much for him, because it gave me a chance to, he was very open, gave me a chance to ask questions as well, which I was very grateful for.
Yes. Well, thank you very. I think a quite informative nearly an hour now. So thank you very much.
That's flown by.
When we get talking, we get talking.
We do.
Thank you very much. If you are a fitness professional with the either exercise referral, level 4 neuro, or level 3 exercise and disability qualification, and want to appear on my podcast, please let me know, because I would like to have you on, especially if you've got a disability with a disability qualification. I would like to have you on. I like to keep it. I say keep the qualification. I do like to get those with a qualification on, because it actually naturally promotes the actual qualification within the industry. So, and if you're a fit pro that wants to do the disability qualification, pop in the comments and I'll put all the information in there for you. Thank you, Jonny. Thank you again.
Thank you, Sam.
And we'll see you on the next podcast.
Thank you for having me.